It's great to talk to you every time. The story that you have is so cool, and really excited about people to learn about it, learn about your journey.
Well, anything I can share, I guess, to help other people in business, because as you know, business is not easy, and I know here in Australia, 1 in 3 businesses fail within the first 3 years, because it's just not easy. By the time you look at the overheads, you look at the employees, you look at the rent, and then on top of that, you're buying stock or materials, whatever you're selling or whatever business you're in, and then again, marketing and the tools to actually get it out there and to sell it. Because once someone said to me once that you can have the best product in the world, but really you can't sell a secret.
That's
so
true.
if you're not out there marketing, promoting it, and getting into the right channels, no one's really going to buy it. Not because they don't want to buy it, but because they haven't found the product from you.
That's exactly
Well,
that's why your journey is so interesting. How you learned to refine that and build that to really put the business in front of people,
yeah,
in
yeah.
front
Well,
of the right people.
yeah. Well, but believe it or not, I mean, it's. I've been doing this now for 18 years, but it's really the last 5 years where we really honed down and I really learned the craft. And one of the most important things is actually working with the right people. There has been several people I've worked with in the beginning. Obviously, the results would sort of shoot up and things would be looking okay. And, 6 months down the track or 8 months down the track, things either go completely flat or they start, decreasing in terms of, the clicks and the sales and then the return on investment. So working with the right people is so important. So I've managed to do that. I joined a business mentor program called Daily Mentor. The founders, Davey, he's one of the guys on Shark Tank. So, he started this program where exactly for businesses and people, entrepreneurs like myself, can actually speak to other mentors who have already done it. And these guys, these guys turn over between $50 to $100 million a year, sold businesses over $50 million, had staff anywhere from 20 to, several hundred staff. So they know the ins and outs. And the hardest thing about, running a business and I guess growing is making the right decisions. There's been several decisions which I've made, which I thought were the correct ones. And it's almost like, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and then you reevaluate and then you still keep going. So the growth is there, but it ends up being much slower. But imagine if you can find someone where you go, okay, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to take it. And this is the plan. And they go, no, I've already done that. It doesn't work. This is what works. So, a little example of that is, having a website, having a Shopify platform, using their platform, I should say, and having your store on there. It's like an iPhone. You got thousands and thousands of apps. Regardless of what you want to do, there's always something for that to help you. I mean, with my website, I've got 52 apps. To do various different things. But how many apps do you think I had to go through to find the right ones to actually work? This is the big question. Now, if I was mentoring someone, if I was trying to help someone, I could just say to them, listen, these are the 52. If you're doing an art supply store, or if you're doing something similar, which high number of products, you want to have those filters, you really want to get it out there. These are the ones you should use. These work. They could just plug them in, start with them, and have no problems whatsoever. Where, if you're looking at, like, for example, pre-order and notification apps, there are hundreds. There are 100. I went through about 4 different ones over the period of 6 months to figure out what's working. Because in the beginning, if something might look like it's working, You don't quite know until 1 or 2 months into it, because once clients start interacting with it and start using the app, not knowing they're using it, that's when you start getting a little issues and a little things going. Well, it's working, but it's not actually working for us because we need more information, or how good would it be if it can also do this, but it can't do that. But then you go out there looking for one that can do what that can do plus what you're after. So
Right.
that's one of the hardest things. And, that's when I, came across Rep AI. I wanted something where we can interact with clients without having further manpower to be there, because we already have so many staff who are picking and packing, answering phones, answering emails. The last thing we need is another person on the laptop, having chats and having discussions or recommending products to people online. So of course, even with the Rep AI app, I was very hesitant in the start because, when you do looking at apps, if you add how much I'm paying per month on all these apps, it comes to several thousands of dollars. So Rep AI was one of those who was obviously high up there in terms of the cost, but I've learned very early on in the business, you pay for what you get. So
Hmm.
part of me was like, well, yes, it is expensive, but if I had to pay someone to do a similar thing, how much would I pay them? And when
Hmm.
you look at that, Rep AI is actually quite cheap. So, and it doesn't complain, and it's on for 24/7. It's constantly working. It's constantly on. So obviously we did a trial for 1 month, which was very good. For us, it worked out very well. One great thing for me was the fact that obviously we're the account manager. And the great thing about the account manager is you're telling, I guess, where you want to go in terms of business, and they can sort of then start suggesting various things that Rep AI can do, which you are not really aware of.
Right.
And not only that, but they also implemented those various things, and catching up every month, we can really make the most of the app, because we can always, you know, as it's working, we are seeing little things that need to improve or little things that we need to add on. And that's standard because every business is different. What I need may not necessarily be what the other person on the screen needs. So everything's very custom. So the longer we're using the app, the more successful it is. Um, Part of that, what we found is obviously the more people who are using it, the better results we're having. So
Mm.
that's why I engaged with a separate, SEO team, Google team, and a Meta team. On top of that, we have marketing and email, marketing, SMS, and email team. So with those four different teams, if they're all doing their various different things, getting people to the site, we are capturing them everywhere. I mean, if Rep AI doesn't capture them where it offers products, offers discount codes, offers, it also engages in a conversation, um, which I found quite remarkable. But going back to, perhaps if it sees the clients engaging and looking at various products but not buying anything, or if the client leaves the site, comes back, sometimes we offer them, hey, here's $10 to complete your order. If they don't do that, which is completely fine, then we got email flows that further
Hmm.
continue. So we're hitting them on every single angle. So we'll make sure we're making the most of every single client. And with our return rate, it's about 47%. So 1 in 2 clients are always coming back and shopping with us, which is great, which I like to think is because of the service.
Yeah, and it's returning customers rate, so not returning the products rate.
Yes,
Uh,
returning customers, yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's so inspiring. The fact that, and you're so true, so right about if somebody young that just starts in the business that comes to you and say, "Listen, I have all these 8,000 apps in Shopify." You can just save them the time because you went through all the so
Yeah.
many apps. know what's working, what's connecting to each other, right? What's the best
Yes.
practice, and just save them so much time on the trying and the failing, right?
Correct.
That's
Correct.
that's the that's the best mentorship.
Yeah,
To
because
save that time.
imagine your decision making. If someone in front of you has already done all those mistakes and has gone through the path, I mean, you go, okay, cool, I'm learning from you, so I don't make the same mistakes. Your growth is so much faster.
Right.
You're
Definitely.
getting there a lot quicker. That's why
Definitely.
if you speak to any of these guys who are really up there, really made it, and they go, is there anything that you would change, or is there anything that could have helped you? And they're like, well, I wish I made these decisions. I wish I didn't do this because we could have grown double the speed, or we could have grown double. So
Yep.
it's those little things.
Yep.
For
True.
me, the mentor program, really really works. For other people, again, if they're starting out, maybe it's too expensive or whatnot. But just sort of have a look at I guess people in the field, what are they doing, and see if you can somewhat learn from them. I always say you don't have to reinvent the wheel; you can just paint it a different color. You know,
Yeah. And tell me, if you look at people are, acquisition cost is something that is extremely high, and it's going up for years. People talk about, in the past, acquiring a customer was, could be a few cents, and now it's
several dollars.
several dollars.
Yeah,
What is something that you're doing that you think is, I mean, there's no magic formula. It's a lot of try and failure, but what do you
there's
think?
definitely no magic formula, but I feel like having various tools such as Rep AI and the email marketing, and also when clients, and having that open communication with clients. We also have a new phone system where everything's recorded. Anyone can text us at any time. When they call us, they have the option of saying, press any key, and instead of talking to us, you can just text us, giving us information. Also, just like we have flows with emails, we have flows with phone calls.
Mm,
So if we miss their call, text goes out to them apologizing that we've missed it because we're with other calls or we're busy. We'll call them back within 20 minutes, or they can send us a text with the inquiry. Also,
no.
with every client purchasing in store, text goes out to them saying thank you for shopping with us. If there's anything you need, whatever, please reach out to us. So just little things like that. Yes, acquiring the customer is expensive, but it's expensive if they shop once with you.
Mm,
If they keep coming back, that's why we have 1 in 2 clients coming back and constantly repeat shopping. So when you look at it that way, in actual fact, the cost becomes lower and lower every time they keep coming back because you only pay for it once.
that's
And that's
amazing.
and that's the way you got to look. You got to keep the customers you have, and you got to retain them with various different communications, and trying to help them out as much as you can. And yeah, look, they say customers are always right. I don't know about that. Customers are not always right, but it's important to have that open communication, and to whatever might be the issue, because sometimes they might step out of line, and that they might ask something that's well, for example, with us, for example, recently we had a customer order $90. Apologies, it was about $109 worth of goods. Anything over $99 with us is free shipping. Now,
Mhm.
two items out of the 3 in that order were pre-orders. So when they do a pre-order, they automatically receive an email saying, "Thank you for the order. Please note these 2 items were pre-order, even though when they order it says pre-order. Please expect it within the next 2 weeks." Now, the client called us within 15 minutes of making that order and said, "I can't wait. I need you to send the other item for us, and the other 2 items need to be sent when they arrive." Now, you think to yourself, okay, cool. Why don't I just do that? But the fact is, with the marketing, with the discount, out of the $109, our profit's probably about $40 from that, right? When you pay for everything, and on top of that, it's also free shipping. So we're paying for the shipping and the packing, which if you look at the packing side of things, it's about between $7 to $8, and then the shipping's about $12.
Mm-hmm.
So sending it once, okay, not a problem. But we explain to the client, well, we can't send one item and then two later because you received free shipping. If we send it to you twice, we're basically working for free. We're actually losing money. And then they step back and say, well, I didn't even think about it that way, which is
Yeah.
completely fine because it's because they don't need to think about it that way, you know. But if these situations arise, we just need to explain it and say, hey, happy to help you, but this is where we're at. If you want that item, we'll send it, but you need to pay shipping twice if you want to wait. Otherwise, wait for the other items to arrive, which will be about 4 days, and we'll send it all together free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
so
So
just
how
having
is
that,
that
yeah. So just having,
transparency?
transparency and communications. I mean, people understand, people get it, you know. So, and that's why they'll always come back.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying focusing on the retention, the customer experience in the store,
Yes,
and making sure that the lifetime value of the customer is higher
correct.
than than you're earning more than
Yeah.
you spent.
Correct, because what you'll find is, say you got 100 customers hypothetically, but then you acquire another 10. If you don't take care of the 100, another
Right.
10 would leave, and then you're actually not growing. All
Yeah.
you're doing is going around in circles.
Yeah. True.
So the idea is to keep that number growing whilst keeping as many customers coming back as possible. And in our case, again, is 1 in 2. So because of that, we
Yep.
don't mind spending X amount of dollars on marketing and acquiring new customers.
Right. Because you're looking at the bigger picture. You're
We're
not just
looking
looking at
we're
like
looking at the
how
big, yeah,
much am I spending now and how much am I gaining just on that specific, date.
correct.
Yep. Yeah. That's the best way to look at business
Mm,
pretty much.
yeah,
And when we look at at apps, there's the AI aspect that comes into play, and many merchants today are sometimes afraid of getting AI in because there's it's kind of a, can I control it, can I not control it, like what is, it's supposed to be beneficial, but I don't know if I want to try these new things. How what's your approach to working with AI in your
I just think
business?
being an entrepreneur and being in business, you can't ignore things. You have to at least give them a go, and you have to look into them before you make the final sort of decision. Um, if you do your research like I did, and if you have a look, I mean, I can tell you right now, Rep AI, like the software, knows more about my products than I do, and I've been doing this for 18 years. You know, it knows more. Even it knows more than any of my staff members. It's one of those things. It's like once you understand what it does and what it can do, you have to use it to your advantage.
Right.
So
Right.
think about it this way. It's like, imagine having staff. Like, I have staff. I have people who do. I get. We still have customer service. Pick and packers. We have a team for delivery. We have a team for manufacturing canvases. We have a team for all those sort of things. But every now and again, someone comes to work tired. Someone's got personal things going on, and things are missed. And that's a part of being at work. And I always say, very early on, one of my biggest mistakes was expecting 90% or 100% from my employees and
Mm.
giving them 4 or 5 jobs to do, because I would do 10 jobs. You know, um, that was one of the biggest things. It took me a long time, probably 10 years to realize if you're getting 70% from your staff, you're doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fact. And when you're giving them jobs, give them one main job and another side job. So perhaps give them 2 things to do, and break them up into teams or groups or sections, and things will get done. If I had someone who was doing 5 or 10 things, nothing will get done, because the concentration would scatter. They just wouldn't know where to start, where to finish. So where I'm going with that is, even though they got, for example, now 2 jobs and main jobs, they still make mistakes, which is fine. Everyone makes mistakes, as long as we're aware of it and we try to do it next time. But mistakes will happen. So it is what it is. But imagine having a staff member where, if you tell it once, if you tell them a piece of information once and they never forget.
Right.
I forget things. We would be at a different level.
Right.
Things wouldn't be missed, packing, shipping charges would be paid, would be followed up if things are dangerous goods and bulky items, which we do charge regardless. Sometimes they forget to do that. Sometimes they forget to call the client. Sometimes they forget to, if the client
being
has
human, right?
Being human, which is completely okay.
Yep.
But this is where the AI comes in. You tell it once, it never forgets. And every time you tell it a piece of information, it just gets smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. And that's why in the beginning, the first month, every day we had 3 or 4 questions which we had to answer so he can learn, because he didn't know the answers, because the clients were asking these questions. Now when I log in and I have a look, it's very rare for me to find a question which you couldn't answer.
Mm-hmm. So those questions were the ones that they were also not on the website, right? So we did not have anywhere to find them. Where they are.
Well, they were not on the website, and the way people were asking as well.
Oh,
and
okay.
Information,
Nuances,
yeah, but also, why isn't this in stock? When's it going to be back in stock?
Yeah.
A little simple thing like that. It was mainly about things either being sold out, when's it going to come back in stock, just
things like that.
Little things like that people were very, very peculiar questions, which again, that information was not. If you read between the lines, it is there, but we're all in a hurry. It's all time. We just want the answer straight away, and sometimes we don't always ask the same way. It's always everyone has their way of asking questions. So yeah.
Is that what you would recommend if somebody now, a merchant, comes to Rep AI and starts working with the program? That would be your first recommendation, to just go in and answer, like go over the things that they're not. Or did you do anything else that you think was?
Well, obviously, with my account manager, who's amazing, we basically, she suggested a few of the flows. So just like email flows, we also have, engaging with the client if they're on the page for 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Now what we've done, so also engaging with the customer if they've come back and they haven't bought the first time, and saying, hey, if their order's over a certain amount, let's offer them $10 off their order. Just give them a bit of incentive. Also, now we're going into a deeper, after a few months, we're going, what else can we do? So now we're going, well, if you buy brushes, let's suggest brush cleaners.
Yeah. Okay.
Upselling. If you buy oil paint, let's suggest oil mediums. So now we're sort of also trialing that and doing that, and it's been working. It's been great, because sometimes, when you are online shopping, you grab things what you need, and you forget sometimes. You forget certain things which aren't on your mind, or when you. So obviously, if I'm buying brushes or whatnot, I'll forget about perhaps I may forget about the cleaning part, because I'm so into what am I painting with. I forget, well, keep forgetting I've got to actually clean it, which no one likes to do. But,
That's true.
taking care of the brushes. So those little things are those that take you to the next level. But with the new clients, if they'll jump on board, it's really plug it in and just watch it do its thing for the first month, and just have a look at the back end every day, see what questions couldn't be answered, answer those questions, and do that for the first month, just so it sort of learns, and just so it's almost like teaching a new staff member all the procedures and all the information on your company and your products, and how you want things to be answered. And then
That's great.
obviously over time, then you can see the behaviors of customers, and then from that you can create flows, you can create automatic things, you can create all those things that that just work.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, I'm interested. You look at the world of art. You look at ecom. You look at AI.
Mm.
If you look at 2026, when we'll get there, what do you think? How will AI impact the e-commerce world? Um, what would come
Well,
in?
from what I'm seeing for what's out there, and certainly what I'm using in my practice, both as an artist and also as an entrepreneur in business, everything's quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's so quick. The availability of information, the 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 way also, for example, now, using Shopify, describing an item.
Mm-hmm.
I know back in the day, I used to rack my head, how am I describe this item, because the supplier, the manufacturer hasn't
The
sent me.
Shopify magic, right?
Yes, the Shopify
Yeah.
has an AI that describes the item, because well, the website reads what's out there, whilst at the same time it uses your heading, so then it puts something together, which is quite remarkable. So with one click, it just does it for you. So you can technically do, um, 100 items, describing 100 items within 10 minutes. It's so easy, as opposed to being, taking 10 minutes to actually figure out what you want to write, and is it going to be SEO friendly and all that information. Whereas with this, it already does it for you. So it's that speed, it's low cost, and if you can spend a bit of time just sort of learning how it works and how you can use it to your advantage, you can not only save so much money, but you can get ahead so much quicker.
Bring your business
Yeah.
ahead of the curve. That's true. That's true. Looking forward to that. We don't know where it's going. At the end, it would be,
Well,
I think, very surprising.
yes.
Yeah. We can't even predict. Great. Thank you so much for your time, Alessandro. Learned a lot. And where can we can find you on your website, the Sydney Art Store, right?
Sydney Art Store on Instagram, at the Sydney Art Store, and the personal as an artist as well. There's a link on the Sydney Art Store where you can also see me as an artist. So
Great. And if people want to hit you and ask you some questions, maybe
listen,
they'll
by
do
all
that
means,
there.
I'm more than happy to help if anyone has any questions. Um, I always think you never know who you're going to help, because one day I may be asking help from them. So
Right.
it's and there's enough business for everyone. I don't think other art stores, or I think any might be competitors, because in the day, regardless of what you do, the client's choice is where they want to shop.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah,
Exactly. Thank you so much for your time. It was
you
wonderful
got
talking
it.
to you again.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye bye. Okay.